Hi there, thank you very much for joining me. I realise that it's a little while since I've actually been on screen for you, and today it occurred to me that I had never actually shown you how to finish off one of the canvas paintings that we might have done together in the past. So this video is just really simple, straightforward way to show you how I've actually finished off this painting here that we did the other day. It is a canvas and you'll be able to see exactly how to put the wiring onto the back and also to finish the front. I hope you'll find it informative. Do please send any questions that you have, and you might also be interested to know that I've now got a membership scheme set up, which you are very welcome to join, and I would love to see you there. Enjoy the video. Thanks again. Bye. Okay, so this is the painting and it's all ready to go, but I want to glaze this and put a varnish, but first of all it's much easier to put the strings on the back. As you can see, we've got some staples holding the canvas onto the board, but we need to put some screws into this to attach the wire to. So first of all I'm going to use a ruler and just measure down from the top to get exactly the right measurements I want. So I'm going down about 5 centimetres here. This is an 8-inch square canvas. I'm not sure what that translates to in centimetres, but I'll do it on both sides to make sure that it's right. Now, as you can see, there is a staple there where I've done that line, but we'll come to that in a moment. Using the ruler across just to make sure that it is straight. There's nothing worse than a wonky painting, so make sure that you've got it straight. I'll just amend that line slightly. And what I'm using here comes actually in a kit, and it consists of these fixings here which are double-sided, and the side that we want to use is actually the smooth side up. So literally they fit over that line that I've just drawn. As you can see, the little hook actually sort of dangles over the edge of the frame of the canvas. Now I use a brad awl, which is an old-fashioned tool. This is one of my husband's. You need something that will poke a hole into the wood because it sometimes can be quite tough. So I just hold the whole of the screw and just work in with that brad awl and just make sure that it can start. If you can see the hole there now, that gives me a start to put the screw into. Makes it much easier than trying to screw it in just into the wood. So these are nice little screws specifically for framing, and they have a cross mark on the top. So I'm using a crossed screwdriver, which I think is a Phillips, and you just want to make sure that that tightens. It takes a little bit to get going, then it goes in quite well, and I'm just making sure that's nice and secure, doing exactly the same on the opposite side. Ignore me there because I actually used a screwdriver to try and make the hole, which was wrong, but I used the brad awl and went back in. Okay, so now we have both of those fixings attached nice and firmly, and we need to add the wire. So this is picture framing wire, picture hanging wire. It is quite sharp, so do be careful, and usually what I do is just lay it out so that I know I've got goodish length. You need a little overlap at either side, and you'll see why in a minute when I come to fasten that in. So push the wire through from underneath and then go underneath, pull it tight, pull it round and actually go back in that fixing hole, pull it down, and at this point you might want to use a pair of pliers to pull that tight. It's very difficult and it does pull your fingers. And then you're going to twist the end around that wire. Again, be careful. I have actually stabbed myself in the finger with the end of the wire, and it is sharp and it does split into lots of different wires. It is like a cable bound together. What we're going to put on here are some crimps. These come in the set that I've used, but you can get them separately. So first of all, I'm going to do this end of the wire, and I'm going to make sure I've got enough length there and use a pair of wire cutters just to snip that end, leaving plenty to play with. We can always trim off, but if it's too short, you have to remove the whole thing and start again. Now we're just going to thread 2 of the crimps onto that wire because we'll need one for each end, and we can't put the right hand one on once we've put the wire through, as I discovered quite early on. So it's the same process, up through that hole, pull it taut, use pliers if you need to, round there once. Again, I am going to pull that a little bit tight. You can see it tightening up. then down through that hole, through the fixing, and then you can start to wrap it around that wire. Again, just pull it tight. Start off that curve, and you can just wrap it around. Now this is a little bit too long, which I guessed, so I'm just going to snip some of that end off with the metal cutters. Very easy to snip it off, and then we've just got enough there to wrap around. Now I'm threading the first of the crimps onto that first side, and you just literally want it to cover the ends of those wires, and using the pliers just really squeeze it tight, and that's fixed on nicely. Slide the other one over to the other end and do exactly the same, and they stay in place really well. And now you see your wire is attached firmly. You'll be able to hang that with no problems at all. Back to the front of the painting, I want to give this a varnish, and as you can see I'm going to use some satin, which means it's got a little bit of a shine but not a gloss shine, so it won't deflect light. A lot of pictures deflect light when it hits them, and they can't actually be seen very well. Just take those couple of bits off. I'm using a soft flat brush to put this on. It's tempting to pour the varnish onto the painting and then spread it out, but it dries quite quickly and you can be very soon left with a bit of a skin which is difficult to move about. So I like to just use the brush, just slowly and steadily, move it in both directions, make sure you use it vertically and horizontally just to cover all of that weave. If you do it gradually, you'll find it's quite a straightforward exercise. Obviously, if you're using a much larger canvas, you can use a much larger brush, cover the area a little bit more quickly. So it's just a question now of just keep on moving, making sure it's evenly spread. I like to do it in good light, and then at the end I will actually look and make sure that there are no gaps. It's quite easy to see if you've missed any because there'll be a hole that isn't shiny. And you can see now we've got everything covered. That's all nice and shiny. There's no little puddles that need thinning out. There's no areas that we've missed. So I'm happy with that. And now we just let that dry. Very straightforward. I hope that that's helpful to you. But don't forget to get in touch if you have any questions. Thanks again.